Hello everyone, welcome back to Black Express. It's our new podcast that we have been extensively talking about in the past few days. So I did actually drop a trailer video explaining everything about the podcast, what we are about, why I decided to take this route, and today we're going to be dropping our first episode. So I know everybody's super curious about what I'm going to talk about, but first, the topic for today's episode has to do with something that resonates with me personally. And in my trailer, I did say I was going through some personal, interesting moments in my life. And I know that most of you cannot relate to that, but for those who do relate to that, trust me, you probably know what I'm going through right now. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about when do you think is the right time for your partner to move on after a breakup or divorce. I know, everybody has a lot of different opinions regarding this. From different cultures, different religions, just people differently have opinions about this. And generally it's always been really negative. But today, it's Black Express, so no judgment zone. I just really want to understand where your head is at when it comes to this topic. When do you think, for yourself or for your partner, if you've ever been in a breakup or a divorce before, when do you think is the right time for the other person or for you to move on? If you talk about it from an African, Christian, religious family like mine, first of all, divorce or breakup is totally frowned upon. So for you to even think about moving on, you feel like you're on other people's timelines. I think everybody has been there, especially when it's a divorce. It's like, oh, but you guys are together. Oh, but it's too soon. So when it's too soon, that's the question. So in today's episode, I'm going to discuss what are the markers we set for our personal selves as a timeline. Some people say it's okay to move on after a divorce or after a breakup once you realize that the other person has already moved on. However, is that a sustainable thing? Is that something we can all do? Because I believe every individual, partner or not, have their own timeline and have their own markers for when it's the right time. Now, society, culture, and everybody doesn't look at those markers. They just look at a timeline. Oh, it's too soon, or maybe it's just 2 weeks after. But they don't look at the personal growth. They don't look at the healing period. They don't look at, you going through your own, going through the motions. Because trust me, there are days that I've been through the motions. However, society doesn't care about that. They just care about how much time, how much days, how many weeks, how many months have gone past. So some people say, well, I think it's time to move on when my partner moved on already. Or I think it's time to move on because I feel like I'm finally ready to get back on the market. But what do you mean by finally ready? I really want to know. So I would really love your opinion. You can, leave a comment below. So in my situation, I did move on when I realized that I was ready to move on, like I just said. However, some people actually are done with a relationship or done with a marriage, but they're still in it. So there's a common saying that a woman already leaves mentally before she leaves physically. I don't know how true that is, but that was kind of similar in my situation, I'm not going to lie. So the thing is, for me personally, I already knew that everything was over. I had no feelings for this person. I had no sense of loyalty for this person. However, in other people's eyes, she moved fast. People always use that phrase, but she definitely did move fast, or he did move fast. But I think, from my personal perspective, or from my personal opinion, I believe you do what feels right for you, what timeline feels right for you. Because I'm not of the school of thought that, it's over, I'm just going to jump to the next person. I believe you need to take some time off for yourself, get to understand exactly what's going on, cry it out, curse it out, you go through the motions, the anger, the disappointment, the resentment, and all of that. Go through it, take your time. But I believe for the markers, when the timeline doesn't matter for me, but what has been done, what steps have been taken during that time before you move on. So if you decide to move on 2 weeks later, you decide to move on 10 years later, it doesn't matter to me how far apart the time is. It matters what steps you've taken before you moved on. For example, I'm not a fan of you just got out of a relationship and you're already in another one. I feel like you haven't stopped to think to yourself, what happened there? What could I have fixed there? Have I closed that chapter? Have I, maybe make amends, maybe apologize, or maybe, just self-seek. Understand yourself first. And you don't carry that same behavior, that same character, that same causes of whatever ended past relationship to another one. But again, that's just my opinion. You might have something else. So I think for me, moving on, whether it's after a divorce or after a breakup, shouldn't be dependent on somebody else. Shouldn't be dependent on what your family thinks is right, what your friends think is right. It should be dependent on your personal markers, what you have personally done, steps you've taken to ensure that you're ready, not to become the damaged goods in the new relationship, not to be the problem in the new relationship. Obviously, we're always going to fight. Doesn't mean the new relationship is going to be perfect. But since we are on the topic of timeline, I want to understand, why do people really think it's better to give a longer time or a shorter time? If you think a shorter time, let's say, if you think, an example, 1 year is enough, or you think 2 months is enough, why is that? So I think there are both pros and cons in, giving it a longer period of time or a shorter period of time. Because think about it this way. If you give it a longer period of time, from experience, again, you get so used to staying alone. You've done all the healing, and then you look at everyone like, everybody is just crazy. And I'm just the same one, and I don't want that crazy in my life. So you get so used to staying alone, too independent. I don't know if there's anything that's too independent, guys, don't come for me. But I know, because I've felt it, that there has been a time where I've been too independent that even if there's a good person in front of me, I'm like, you know what? But I don't want to do that though. But I know that it's going to be sacrificed. So I'm just going to skip it. So you become too comfortable that nobody's ever right for you. Nobody's ever good enough for you. However, the positive part of staying a longer time might mean that you get your shit together, basically. You get your life on track. You get your finances together. You get your emotions together. You try to work on the things that, ensure that the other relationship failed, because you don't want to bring that again to a new relationship. So I think that might be a reason why people say wait a bit longer. But people who say shorter, why? Is it because you already moved on when you were still in the relationship? Or is it because, you know what? Some people are like, it's over, it's done. Why am I crying? Let's just move on. But again, it's a personal preference, but I would really, really love to know why each choice, each preference, what's the pros, what's the con, what is it? Why? Why should you give it a longer time? Why should you give it a shorter time? What is the ideal time? So, for me, like I said, personally, some women think like a relationship mentally before physically, like in my case. However, if you're still there, could it mean that you're holding on to something? Could it mean that you're waiting? Because honestly, there's always that time after a breakup or a divorce where you just, I'm just gonna sit here and I don't want him, but eventually he's going to call me. Hopefully, I think he's not done yet. Well, he's done, or you're not done, and then you end up actually going back. So, what do you think? And in this time where you were transitioning between the past relationship to moving on, what are you thinking? Are you holding out hope? Is that why you're, waiting for a longer period of time? Is it because you're holding out hope that the other partner is going to reach out? Or is it because you just want to take your personal development in all aspects really seriously? Or you just enjoy your hyper independence and you don't want anybody to mess with that? Or for the shorter ones, is it because you want to move into a new relationship because you think that new relationship is going to make you forget about the old one really fast? Well, sorry, it doesn't work. But do you? So, I really want to know what your opinions are because I want to know. I mean, I'm moving on. I've moved on. Let me be honest. For anybody asking questions, yeah, I'm going through a divorce, but I've moved on. And I know somebody's probably going to like, okay, that was fast, but that's my timeline. I know that, like I said earlier, it's not about the length of time, it's about the steps you take in this time that you waited. And for me, according to my book, Not yours, mine. I have taken that time to cry it out. I have taken that time to heal. I have taken that time to be angry, to be frustrated. I mean, honestly, some days I wake up and I'm still really pissed at him. So it's an ongoing process. So there's sometimes that you're really lost in that process, and there's sometimes that, you know, it's an afterthought. And for me, before I decided it was time to start seeing someone else or start, you know, just putting myself out there, I had passed those markers. I think those red days where you're just all over the place. I think I passed that. That's why I decided it was time. So I didn't wait 6 months. I didn't wait 10 years. But I didn't do that. And it might seem wrong to someone else. It might be okay for someone else. But regardless, it's not about me. I want to know your opinion. I want to know, what do you think? Why? Have you ever broken up? And how long did it take you to move on? And why did it take you that long? And during that time, that long or that short, during that time, what were the things you did that made you feel like you were ready to move on? And did you ever think, actually, you know, this question just popped into my mind. Did you actually think that, have you thought that during this time that you're trying to move on, did you think that, what about that partner? Did he move on? Did you have that question? Because I did. I had that question, did he move on? Not because I was afraid of moving on, but sometimes you feel that guilt of, you don't want to be the first person to move on. Because then it's going to look like you lost that partner next. You didn't give a shit about it. That's done. But I did. I really did. I don't know for anybody else, but trust me, I'm gonna be honest. I did, because this is my experience. No judgment. You can judge. It's totally up to you. But I did think, did he move on? Should I do it? What is acceptable in the eyes of my family, in the eyes of, you know, all these religious people and just generally people? You do think about that. So I really want to know, what do you think? When did you move on? Why did you move on so soon? Or why did you wait so long? And what are your markers to prepare you for you to understand that, okay, it's actually time. I think it's time. I think I'm ready to move on. So let me know. This is an exciting topic that I'm really excited to share with you and discuss with you, because I myself, I want to know. Of course, I moved on. It's not going to change anything, but I just really want to know, what do you people think? Because oftentimes when there is negative opinions about this subject, people just tend to gravitate towards that and not actually say their mind. Because you might like your breakup and you're seeing someone on the side, but nobody knows because you're afraid your friends, your family, everyone's going to judge you. Well, here is Black Express. I'm not judging, but I really want to know. So please, guys, share your opinions. You can, you know, send me a DM on Instagram, on our Instagram account, or just leave a comment on the video and just, you know, let me know. What do you think? Have you been in this situation before? What did you do? How did you do it? And was it accepted? When you explained to that best friend of yours that, by the way, girl, I started seeing someone, I started getting some. What was her reaction? Honestly, was she like, okay, you did good? Or did you get some judgment that you should have waited a little longer or a lot longer? So regardless, I just want you to share your experience with me. You can, like I said, DM me or leave a comment below. And that brings us to the conclusion of our first episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was everything you wished for. But if it was not, well, it is what it is. So, next Saturday, we're going to have a new exciting topic. Feel free to check out our page and listen to us. Tune in every Saturday. And you can listen to exciting new topics. If you feel like you want to share and contribute anonymously or not, because we want to know who you are, actually. If you can, you know, leave us a message, leave us a comment, and just let us know where your head is at with what topic we're discussing or what you would like us to discuss. So, please do not forget to subscribe, follow us on Spotify and our Instagram account for daily posts. See you next Saturday. Bye.